Session 2.0 with Hunter Colvin. Rumor has it that you trained on the day of your wedding. Why, and what did your wife say?
Yeah, I did train on the day of my wedding. We did a wedding like around 5, so I hit up the noon class, and my wife actually trains with me, so she was all about it. She didn't train that day, of course, because she had to get ready and all that, but yeah, I trained the day of my wedding.
Were you worried about getting a black eye?
I was worried about that, to be honest with you. I was like making sure I was extra careful that day.
Are you interested in fame?
No, not really fame. Maybe some of the stuff that fame brings, like, a little bit more money. Being a professional athlete, it's kind of why I'm switching over to MMA as opposed to jiu-jitsu. But as far as like the notoriety and all that, I'm not really for all that.
What does glory mean to you?
Getting something that you've been working for a long time, world championship, or just to know that you were the best in the world at something that you tried for a period of time.
Do you feel the jiu-jitsu community gives you enough credit for your skills?
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit overlooked because I'm not from a major team. I think if I was in a major team, like in California or Florida or New York, I would have a little bit more recognition. But that's okay because everything I do get, like I feel like I really truly earned it and got it out of the ground. But that's just jiu-jitsu. I don't feel like there's a lot of money in it, so the media coverage isn't the best it could be.
Which of your recent matches was tougher for you, Rotolo or Gonzaga?
It's a hard question because they were both tough in their own unique ways. I would probably say that the tie match pushed me because, like, with the match time itself and like the overtime, like we went into triple overtime. I think it was like a 20-minute match or something. 15 minutes, and everyone knows tie pushes the pace, so we were really going at it. And as far as like exhaustion and pushing me, that match for sure.
During your match with Gonzaga, you had a heel hook locked on for a while. Do you know why you couldn't finish it?
To be honest with you, I'm not much of a leg locker. It's not my game. I felt like it was the best way to, go about going against Gonzaga, somebody that much bigger than me. I got a 50-50 heel hook on one leg, and like I tore his leg up with that. I could hear it ripping and all that. Honey hold the other leg, tore his leg up with that, heard it ripping. But I could just tell, like, about halfway through the match after those attempts, I was like, okay, this guy's not going to tap out. He's good with letting his leg pop. So I just, they're short matches, 5-minute matches, just prepared for overtime. And he ended up getting me in the overtime with the armbar.
Your Instagram profile name is @Colvin335. What does the 335 stand for?
It's just my birthday, March 3rd of 1995.
Why are you looking to switch over to MMA?
Switching to MMA because I feel like I can do jiu-jitsu a little bit later. Like I could still compete at a high level in my mid-30s. Like if you look at like Lovato and Hinger and Cyborg, Cyborg's 40 and he's still competing. MMA is a little bit of a shorter window, I feel. I feel like I've got till about 35, 36 in MMA. And I would really look back and regret it if I didn't, try it out and like try to make a serious run at it. And I'm actually looking at fighting for Legacy, hopefully here in about March or April.
Any plans for jiu-jitsu in 2021?
Doing Brandon McCatherine. He's a Eddie Bravo black belt. He's doing like a PFL type tournament in Alabama. So I'm going to be doing that February 4th through 11th is when they're filming it. And then they're going to be like releasing footage throughout the months. I've got that planned. And then of course, ADCC trials in November. That's the biggest one I've been focused on.
Brothers Jiu-Jitsu is a gym that has produced some smashers. What's your secret?
Just everybody pushes one another. I don't think there's like any easy days of training, and with it being that small of a group and everyone focused on being a competitor, I think you just can reach another level that you can with like a big gym, a big group.
How popular is jiu-jitsu in Oklahoma?
Pretty popular. The gym we come from, Trident, has about 500 members. Oklahoma is like really big wrestling state, so like we get a lot of people who are done wrestling or like wrestled in high school and stuff, and they want to keep, doing something athletic, so they'll switch over to jiu-jitsu. It's also a big fighter state. We have a lot of fighters that come out of here, so we get a lot of people that get interested in jiu-jitsu for that way as well.
You already have a contract signed with Legacy Fighting Alliance, LFA?
We're trying to get it there. I just joined a management team, Dodge Sports Management, and we're working on that right now.
Who's your favorite MMA fighter?
I really like Khabib, obviously. I mean, I think there's a lot of people who like Khabib, but it's hard to say. I like so many. Like I could pick one for each weight class, but as of late, it's been Khabib. I've been really watching him and studying his film on how he fights.
What will your weight class be for MMA?
185 for some of the more smaller promotions, just so it's not that much of a weight cut for me. And of course, not getting somebody who's like cutting down from like 220 to 185, just finding like smart opponents that were around the same size. But like for the major promotions, when we get up into the big leagues like UFC, I'll start cutting down to 170. It's just such a hard weight cut for me. I feel like it's my optimal weight, but I'm not going to have a lot of those weight cuts in me, so I want to save them for when we get to the big show.
So who is your favorite 170-pound MMA fighter?
It's hard. I like Stephen Thompson a lot just because I started with karate, so it's kind of cool seeing him use that karate style and put people out. Plus, he's a nice guy.
Do you see yourself as a nice guy?
I am. I feel like I try to not be very standoffish. I really look at jiu-jitsu as a sport, and I don't think of it as much as a fight. I think the MMA has helped with that. I feel like it's just like I can say like, okay, we're not fighting each other. We don't have to hate each other. Like it's just a jiu-jitsu match, and I think that helps out.
What did you think about Poirier versus McGregor?
Dustin had a really significant chance of beating Conor. He's beaten a lot of really good guys, and I feel like a lot of people overlook Dustin, but their first fight was at 145, and it was a long time ago. I felt like Conor definitely didn't look like Conor, and then Dustin Poirier was on, as he usually is. So it sets up a good trilogy. I'm interested in seeing him run it back a third time. I would like to see him each get one more fight, some more time to grow. Like Conor was saying, he wants some more ring time this year, and so let Conor get that, and then run it back a third time.
What do you think about the upcoming boxing match between Ben Askren and Jake Paul?
I don't think Ben Askren is the best representation of MMA striking. Obviously, I think that's why Jake picked him, because he's a grappler and he thinks he can knock him out. I would like to see the fight. I'm interested in it just because he's not a striker, but he's still an MMA fighter. He has a lot of fight experience. He's a great wrestler. And so maybe that'll be enough to carry him through the boxing match. Just, fight experience, being in shape as compared to the other guys who are a YouTuber and a basketball player. And I'd like to see it. Plus it's good for Ben. I think he's going to make more money this fight than he has his probably entire MMA career, if they're talking millions of dollars,
Do you think jiu-jitsu is getting softer over time?
When I started this, back when I was a teenager, it wasn't like jiu-jitsu is now. It was like fight gyms, and you learn jiu-jitsu at an MMA gym, and everyone was real rough, and they were fighters. And now it's evolved into a sport, and you have athletes as opposed to tough guys. And I don't know. I really don't know, have too much of an opinion on it. I just kind of try to walk the line a little bit on that. You got to be tough, but you can't just be running up and hitting people when you want to as well. You know what I mean?
Do you think jiu-jitsu is going to develop at dojos?
I definitely think that you're going to see it like karate, where you're going to have black belts who are probably not legitimate black belts, but you're going to have black belts that aren't legitimate black belts, but that's just how it goes, I think. That's why I think each individual person is responsible for their own belt and their own accolades, and you can't just rely on the belt itself to prove you're a martial artist. You have to have those other things that can prove your worth.
You mentioned that there's not much money in jiu-jitsu at the moment. Do you think that more freak matches are needed to draw more viewers?
And I enjoyed mine with Gonzaga. It was a 100-pound weight difference. It was fun. I would think it would draw some eyes. I would watch some of those matches just to see what happens. When Gio had that match, I can't remember what that guy's name, but he's a real big guy, and it was a great match. I like watching those matches.
Your match against Gonzaga was a legit matchup to us. But what about matches between YouTubers and celebrities versus jiu-jitsu athletes?
It's tough because where it comes from in boxing is everyone thinks they can fight. Even if you're a blogger or whatnot, if you're one of those guys who are trying to get into these freak matches, you think you can fight, and it's fist fighting. Then I don't think there's going to be a lot of people who are oh, I can take on this jiu-jitsu guy in a jiu-jitsu match, because they don't. There's just going to be really one-sided.
What are your thoughts and feelings about the term Kryonche in Jiu-Jitsu?
Gotta, go where you can grow. I'm loyal to my gym brothers and stuff, but I still cross train at bigger gyms when I've got big tournaments coming up, and like my coach understands it, and I bring back what I learned to our gym, and like there's kind of like a like a cooperation there that like helps out. I'm still Pete Wilhelm black belt, and I always will be, but I think you definitely have to do what's best for you too.
Do you think that training in the kimono will eventually become a thing of the past in Jiu-Jitsu?
I don't think so because like where I'm from, like the majority of people do gi. Like that's where the market is with jiu-jitsu. The jiu-jitsu classes, like I said, my gym has about 500 members, and like most of them do gi there. I feel like it's what the casual people, the hobbyists, that's what they like to do. So I feel like it'll always be around.
Takedown or guard pull, and why?
You have to be able to do both. Like especially here in Oklahoma, I've had matches with D1 collegiate wrestlers that I'm like, I'm not going to play into his rule set, so I'll pull guard and then sweep, and now I'm on top and I've accomplished what I need to accomplish. But ADCC, there's no sitting in the second half, so like you have to know how to wrestle. So I feel like people need to get good at both of them, and like for sure, takedowns are neglected, and people don't like to do them because they're hard and they're tough, and a lot of people don't think they need them in jiu-jitsu.
What do you think about the IBJJF's new inclusion of heel hooks?
Completes the sport. I mean, there's no reason why there shouldn't be heel hooks. It's going to change up the whole dynamic of the IBJJF. You're going to have leg lockers now, and I think it's just going to be just moving towards ADCC, and I like that.
Are there any IBJJF rules that you'd like to see changed?
Sudden death OT, where it was like first to score or something. I just like it just gives room for too much politics.
Do you think some jiu-jitsu practitioners get promoted based on favoritism rather than merit?
That's just politics in general. I'm sure girls and guys get moved up because they're like a favorite or something. I mean, that happens. That's just human nature.
If you could write one message on the mats for all jiu-jitsu practitioners around the world to see, what would your message be?
Just like especially right now with the climate of the world, just be kind to one another. I feel like that's the good thing about jiu-jitsu is you get all kinds on the mat, and like you learn how to coexist in different political backgrounds, different religions, different walks of life, and like that's really what it's all about. Is you learn that even though you have all these differences, you can still connect through this one thing, and that everyone is working together as a team. I think that's the beautiful part of the sport.
If a future variant of the coronavirus had 95% mortality, what would you do?
95% mortality, huh? I'm not sure. If I couldn't do jiu-jitsu, I'd probably be no jiu-jitsu, no MMA. I don't know. I'd probably be just like, get a job where I could help out, I guess, or still get some action, maybe become a firefighter or something. But I need that pressure and like that stress in my life, or else I'll go crazy.
Last question. How is your SJJC gear?
I love the gear, especially this one right here is my favorite rash guard, man. I love the look of it, and all the stuff that you've been sending me is great.
Thanks for speaking with us, Hunter, and thanks for representing SJJC. Journey United.